God, I am so stupid.
To whomsoever it may concern, welcome. This is Life of a Lemon. My name is Shivani and I will be your host today. The topic of this video is reading. With the start of the new year, I decided to self cultivate. What is self cultivation? It can be equated to self improvement found in Eastern philosophies as well as Western philosophies. So, to begin my self cultivation journey, I decided that I want to get back into reading. When I was young, I used to read a lot, but when I started junior college, I kind of couldn't make the time for reading and I just let go of the hobby. So I want to get back into reading and make my life much more meaningful than it already is. So before getting into the books that I've decided that I'm gonna read, I would first like to talk about two benefits of reading that really spoke to me. I just did a simple Google search about benefits of reading, and this Healthline article came up. It gave a bunch of different reasons why reading is beneficial, but two of those stuck out to me. Number one, reading strengthens the brain. I will directly quote from the article. In MRI scans, researchers have concluded that reading involves a complex network of circuits and signals in the brain. As your reading ability matures, those networks also get stronger and more sophisticated. The second, that reading increases ability to empathize. I will again quote from the article. Uh, Speaking of sensing pain, research has shown that people who read literary fiction stories that explore the inner lives of characters show a heightened ability to understand the feelings and beliefs of others. With that concluded, I hope that also motivated you to start reading. I will get into my own plan of reading and get into the plan that I have as part of my reading and what books I've decided to get myself into reading. Now, disclaimer, I don't plan on buying so many books or owning so many physical books um, after this month. This was just to get me motivated. I kind of splurged on books for the new year. Um, so the first book on my list, which I actually already read, is is I Want to Die But I Want to Eat Tteokbokki. I think this book, first of all, the reason I bought this book is because of the title. It sounded really cool and I really love this book. I read it in 3 days. It's a pretty short book and it's a conversation between the narrator or the author and her psychiatrist. So, and a journey through her psychotherapy or psychiatric therapy. It also has small little um, essays by the author, which are also very cool. There's one about her dogs and how she finds out that her dogs also have mortality, and how her dog, who used to be very jumpy and very active, suddenly with age became very slow and very tired, and just like what her emotions were regarding that. I also have a dog, so it kind of made me sad. The next book that I read was The Stranger by Albert Camus. I didn't read this technically, I listened to it, and I wouldn't say I loved it, but it was a nice read. It was, it's a classic apparently, and it's a classic on existentialism, and the topic of existentialism is explored, which is very obvious in the book. I wouldn't say I loved the book, but I didn't hate it. It was nice. It's just I don't subscribe to the existential philosophy anymore, so it was a little difficult for me to be like, oh my god, this book is so good. The imagery was very vivid. The writing was amazing, and the way it was written, it got me into audiobooks, because this before this book, I never really could pay attention to an audiobook as it was playing. The next book that I'm currently in the middle of listening to is Breasts and Eggs by Meiko Kawakami. I also am enjoying this book. The writing is very interesting and something that I haven't read before. The thing that I observed was how the character doesn't call her relatives mom or grandmother or um, sister, older sister, niece. She just calls them by name. So like her grandmother's name is Komi, and she was like, I Komi was the best. Komi was this, which I don't know. Is it a common theme when it comes to Japanese literature? I don't know. Maybe it is. I have more Japanese books on my list, so maybe I'll finally solve that mystery. But I found that very interesting. The only person she refers to by her relation to them is her father, who is an abusive man who left her and they kind of don't live with him anymore, etc. I think who kind of they don't live with anymore. He was abusive towards them as well as their mother, so they have left him, etc. So yeah, I know I am enjoying this book because I keep rewinding it in case I mix something. So that's a good sign. The next book that I'm reading is The Perfume. This is the story of a murderer. It's about scent and it's about this guy who likes to. Okay, I have a little confession. I don't really read blurbs or synopsis of stories. I try to just read the first few words and maybe the first page of the book, or I'll listen to someone else talk about the book and let them convince me that I need to read this book. But so far, this book is gross and really riveting, and I love it. I mean, I could have finished this in one sitting, but I have my exams going on, so I couldn't do that. But now that they're getting over, I might binge read this. It's very weird. The next book is books that I haven't started reading. These are in no order. I don't know. I'll randomly pick up the book that I want to read, but I have started them. So the first book is collect selected works of Edgar Allan Poe. This doesn't have his poems, I think. Does it? It has. It has The Raven. It has been wanting to get into the works of Edgar Allan Poe for a while now. So I finally decided, new year, new me. The next book is Earthlings by Sayaka Murata. I heard a YouTuber that I follow that makes videos about books, Dakota Warren. She talked about this book in one of her book hauls, and she said that this was the way she described this book. I was like, I want to read it, so I bought it, and let's hope I read it soon. The next book I feel is going to be a very warm, cozy book. Toshikazu Kawaguchi. I'm sorry, I don't know how to speak Japanese. But this book is, again, I have not read the blurb. I've just read the first page, and I know something about this book, that this book is about time traveling coffee shop. So hopefully I'm hoping that this might be a very warm and cozy read, but I don't know, it might be something shocking as well. That's the mystery of not reading blurbs. Just you don't know what to expect. The next book is another classic. It's The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath. When I was in my school, in one of my school curriculums, English curriculum, we had a poem by Sylvia Plath. And I remember our ma'am just walked into class one day and said, "Oh, by the way, the author of our next poem, she killed herself putting her head in the oven." And I was like, wow, I want to know more about her, but I never really got to know more about her. First of all, that was a weird thing to say to children. Um, yeah, but now I finally put this on my reading list and I'm gonna read it. Next book is Kim Ji Young by Cho Nam-ju, and I love this book. Uh, okay, I am really excited to read this book because I have seen many, many K-pop artists recommend this book, and I love K-pop. I am, I am obsessed with Korea. I am your friendly neighborhood Koreaboo. So I am really excited for this. The next book is Kobe Abe's Secret Rendezvous. So about Kobe Abe a long time ago, a few years ago, through his book called The Woman in the Dunes. And I wanted to read that book, but it's a pretty thick book, and I just wanted to. So, this is a common theme. They're all very small books. The reason is I don't want to put a pressure on myself and just actually get into reading, so I don't want to read very chunky books. So, yeah, this also I feel would be like a fever dream as all his work. The next book is, as I said, I'm going to read short books. Here it is. Hypocrisy. Anyway, this book is not short, but I still want to read it. It's Strange Tales from a Japanese Studio, Pusong Ling, and this is also a Japanese classics. There is weird books, weird stories in here. I have read a few of them. Um, One of them is Homunculus or something, which is very creepy and eerie and weird. Yeah, that's the first story, Homunculus. So yeah, I think it would be a great bedtime story to read before bed. Bedtime stories to read before bed. The next book is Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. It is a story of a person with dissociative identity disorder. And yeah, I want to read it. It's a classic. It's been on my list for a while. I finally decided to get back on it. And again, we have a small book. The next book is Japanese. I have so much Japanese literature. I am sorry. This is by Hearn Lafcadio Hearn. I think that's how you pronounce it. It's by Penguin Classic and it's Japanese ghost stories. And I am again very excited to read them because I do know one Japanese ghost story, but I don't know if it's an actual Japanese folktale or just a creepypasta. Finally, we have a serious book, and that is Lolita by uh, Vladimir Nabokov. The next, sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong. I love pronouncing foreign names and I love learning how to pronounce foreign names. So, practice makes perfect. So, is about a young girl who is preyed upon by a middle aged man, an older man. And the reason I picked this book up is because I watched a video about an analysis of this book, and in that video, the host said that um, this book is not for the Humbert of the world. It's for the Doloreses. In that book, she analyzed how media has distorted the perception of this book and the true meaning of this book by sexualizing the what's the word nymphet femme fatale, which I found very interesting, and it is true, it's very disgusting, but apparently this book does not condone that. And that is it. I hope you enjoyed this video. For the 3 people who watched this video, and bye bye.